Hello and welcome to the first Oxygen XML live event of this summer. My name is Alim Belu and I will be your host for today's webinar, AI as a tool for technical content creation. In recent months, AI technology has advanced to the point where it is now applicable in a wide range of real-world situations. However, the AI-generated content is not always accurate, making it challenging to introduce this technology to end users. On the other hand, this is precisely why technical writers are an excellent fit for AI, since they can serve as a mediator between the AI and the end users, using it to boost their productivity while ensuring the content that they deliver is accurate. Oxygen AI Positron Assistant is the new plugin for the Oxygen XML tools that introduces AI technology to support technical writing operations. To keep authors in control, the workflows are optimized to include preview of proposed AI changes and the possibility to refine the results. Custom AI interactions are also possible, and you can reuse them easily with the Save as Favorites support. So during this 1 hour live webinar, my colleague Sorin Carbonaro, senior software developer at Syncrosoft, will showcase the use cases that the Oxygen AI Positron Assistant enables. He will also explore the available actions and see how they can be invoked, refined, and also preview their results in the visual diff to understand the document changes. Also, he will show how you can define your own AI processing and also highlight the tasks best suited for AI technology use. But before we get started, let me tell you some information that you need to know about our live events. As always, all of our webinars are being recorded, so this one will make no exception. After the webinar comes to an end, the recording will be made available on the event page on our site, oxygenxml.com, along with Sorin's presentation slides. And also the recording will be uploaded on our YouTube channel titled Oxygen XML that some of you might be accustomed to by now. And if not, we always encourage you to take a look at it afterwards and see for yourself the whole library of tutorials that are available there. Another important aspect that we care about is that as we go along, we want you to ask us questions by using the questions panel from the GoToWebinar interface, where our colleague that you surely know by now, Alex Gitiano, will assist us by answering to all of your questions in real time. And of course, we will be addressing those questions again at the end in a Q&A session, along with the latest entries for the benefit of everyone joining us today. With all of this being said, let me welcome Sorin Carbonaro. Hi, Sorin.
Hello, Alin. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this webinar. I guess that you are excited about what you are about to see and hear. So without wasting any time, let's jump into the presentation. So today I'm going to start by saying a few words about the relationship between artificial intelligence and human written content in general, technical content included. I also want to show the use cases of using AI in technical content creation and review. I'm going to mention a few important pieces of information about the Positron Assistant before showing you the demo of this add-on, which will take us quite some time, and it will be very interesting, I promise you. And then towards the end of the presentation, we'll come back to the slides because I want to mention a few future directions. So artificial intelligence and technical content, or rather human written content in general, are in quite a close relationship. Maybe we can say that they are in a complementary relationship in a way. So for example, first of all, we know that AI models, large language models, as we call them, LLMs, are trained using content written by humans. So we have written content AI models have been trained with that content, but now, on the other hand, we are now assisted by AI in continuing writing and writing much faster and perhaps writing better. Secondly, the AI generated content really needs human review at this point, at least, because it may be inaccurate, and it is inaccurate at times. But on the other hand, we can also benefit from the help that the artificial intelligence can bring in quickly reviewing our content. So we need to review the AI generated content, but AI can also help us quickly review and improve our content. And thirdly, AI has been trained using content written by humans, a lot of technical content as well, written over a large period of time. And now we benefit from the blazing fast answers that the AI can provide based on that content. So we have written during a large period of time, AI models have been trained on that content, and now we have this benefit of very, very fast answers from that content. And I mentioned one more thing at the bottom of my slide. I said that love can be rough, but it's worth fighting for. And what I wanted to say is that, of course, there are still some questions. Some people may have their fears, let's say. There are still some challenges, but I do think that this relationship between artificial intelligence and technical content creation is still something worth fighting for. So how exactly can the AI help technical writers? First of all, AI can help us by writing the initial draft of a document in literally seconds. So we can give the AI some ideas, a few sentences, maybe even one or two words, and it can come up with the initial draft of the document. Then we can use the AI for expanding ideas, expanding short paragraphs into larger paragraphs. AI can also help us in rewriting our content. And while rewriting, we can ask the AI to also correct the grammar and spelling mistakes. AI is able to rewrite it in a simpler and clearer way, very fast if we ask it. We can also ask it to rewrite in a specific style, or maybe a specific format, or using a certain tone of voice. And we can also ask it to have a specific audience in view. For example, we can ask it to rewrite an article as for the academia, or to rewrite something as for a 5-year-old, and it can do that for us. It's also very good at translations. Sometimes it's even better than more established and more famous names in this area of translations. And from what I understood and what I read, it has a way of translating in a more human-like way. Another benefit is that of giving insight into technical documentation. For example, you start working on a new project in a new company, and perhaps you need some more explanations for a specific topic in the documentation, or you can ask for a summary of an article and so on. And you can also use it, as I will show you with Oxygen, you can also use it for refactoring your content. And I'm going to show you just a bit later how you can do that. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the Oxygen AI Positron Assistant add-on. Yeah, that's a long name. That's why we simply call it Positron. And some of us also call it Posi. The Positron add-on uses the AI Positron service, and this service is built on top of the famous Open AI Chat GPT engine. The add-on can help technical writers in generating content, in reviewing it and rewriting it. And it is a free to use service for up to 250 requests per month. This add-on is compatible with the standalone Oxygen XML editor, or even the author or the developer if you use these distributions, and starting from version 25. Okay, so now it's time to move to Oxygen, and we're going to spend some time here. So if you don't have this add-on installed, you can simply install it by going to the help menu up here. And here you can find this install new add-ons action. Once you invoke it, you'll see this dialog box where you can choose the default update site, and you can use this filter to look for Positron. I won't get any entries here because I already have the add-on installed, but you should get them. So after you install the add-on, you should see this AI Positron Assistant panel. And the first thing you need to do is to connect to the service. This will take you to the browser, the web browser, where you have to confirm this code. I'll confirm it. And after everything is set, when coming back to Oxygen, you will see that the AI Positron Assistant panel has been populated with several actions. And let's start exploring them. And what better way to start than using this new data topic. So in the content generation section, we have this action that will create a new data topic for us, starting from a word or maybe a sentence or a couple of sentences. For example, here I have a few sentences about the city of Tokyo. And when I invoke the action, because I have this content selected in the back, it is copied in the dialog box. And once we click generate, we can see here in the Positron chat panel that the AI has started generating the answer. Now it's done, and we can use this create document link from down here to create an editor in the main editing area. And we can now save this topic in the data topics folder. So let's call it Tokyo.data. Now, let's say that you want to expand this topic, you want to write some more. What you can do is use the next action, the continue writing action. So what this action will do is to look at the content preceding the text cursor from here, and taking that content into account, it will continue writing. So let's see it in action. I have some new content here that has been added by the AI engine. And now we can see how valuable the review and the input of a technical writer is, because the engine didn't know about the content after the text cursor. So that's why we have some sort of a duplicated piece of content here, and we can simply remove it. So looking here in this topic, we can see that some of the paragraphs are rather short. So let's say we want to expand them, to expand the ideas, but we don't have an action right now for expanding a paragraph. So the question is, what can we do? The answer is we can write our custom prompt, and because we have several short paragraphs, we can save this prompt as a favorite to reuse it. So here I have this short instruction, nothing too fancy, which I can paste here in the chat view. And now I have, so the instruction is to expand the ideas of the following text in a paragraph of 4 to 5 sentences. So now we need the text to expand. One way to do that is to, of course, copy the content from here. But the more reusable way of doing this is to use a variable. So here we have this variables widget from where you can use a variable which we will be expanded to the entire document content, or in our case, this variable that will be expanded to the current selected content. So we use this variable, and now once our prompt is ready, we can save it to the list of favorites, and we can give it a name. Let's say expand idea. Now we need to select our content and send this instruction to the AI engine. And in just a few seconds, we have our answer. And we can insert this in our topic. And now if we move to another paragraph and select the content, we can reuse this prompt. We have it here as a favorite one. And again, the AI will give us an expanded paragraph. And we can use this preview action to see what will happen. In this case, it's just a paragraph replacement. So we replace the entire paragraph with a bigger one. And we can do that by pressing the insert action. Now, in the next section here in the AI Positron Assistant panel, the rewrite section, we have several other actions. One of the most useful, I think, or the one that I found very useful, is this correct grammar action. So for example, if we have grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes here in the content, so Japan with lower J here instead of singular, we have plural for the verb to be, and so on. We can use this action, and the AI has corrected the content for us. And now the preview is very helpful because it shows us exactly which words have been corrected. And as you can see, all of our mistakes have been corrected. And we can also, instead of closing this div and pressing insert in the chat, we can also copy all the content from right to left, and then we can save this content. And now we have the mistakes corrected in our document. Aline mentioned earlier the fact that you can also refine the answer. So let's see, because this is really important. Let's see how you can do that. So for example, let's select this sentence from here and apply this itemize action. So what this will do is to create a list of all these cities surrounding Tokyo. But I'm not really satisfied with the answer. It's rather boring. So let's ask the AI to add some short descriptions for each of these surrounding areas. So let's say add a short description for each surrounding area. And the AI did exactly what I told it to do. And of course, you can continue refining the answers until you have what you consider to be the perfect fit for you. And now we can add this this answer here and replace the initial content. So as you can see, our initial draft has become quite different. We have a lot more content. And of course, there are some other actions here in the rewrite section, like improve readability, use active voice, and join items. And you can experiment with them on your own if you want to. Moving to the next section, the overview section, again, has some very interesting actions. For example, I was really surprised by what the readability support, the readability report told me. it can also give you a way in which you can rewrite the content. So for example, here you can see that it added some headings. At one point, the report told me to use images for the tourist attractions, or to rewrite the long paragraphs into shorter paragraphs, and so on. Some other interesting actions are these answer questions and generate questions. So these are more helpful when you analyze your content or when you review it. So for example, generate questions will generate a list of 5 questions that will be answered, or questions that find their answers in this topic. And you may wonder, how can this be helpful? And it can help you, for example, to see if the topic really answers the most important questions that you had in mind when writing this topic. You want to see if the users coming to this topic will find the answers to the questions they may have. And it also gives you some sort of an outline of your topic. And the other action, the answer questions action, will actually take the entire content into account, and then it will say that now I'm ready to answer your questions, and now you can start typing questions. Again, this helps you if you want to see, have I really written what I wanted here? Will the users really find the answers for their questions here? For example, you wanted to write a topic about how you can install the Positron add-on, and you can ask it how to install the Positron add-on, and you can see if your topic is AI ready. If the AI ingested your topic, will it be able to answer as you would like? And for example, let's add something that is not common knowledge. Let's say something like Sorin, that would be me, lives in Hamura, and now let's retrain, so to say, the AI, and let's ask it, where does Sorin live? And it tells us that the text mentions that Sorin lives in Hamura, and the certainty is high. So it really found the answer here, and the users will also find their answers in your topic as well. And I mentioned during my slides, when I showed you the slides, that the AI is also able to perform translations, and sometimes it's really good at doing that. It has some sort of a specific way to do that in a more human-like way. And this translation works on the selection, so you can select your content here and press the button for the corresponding language, and you get your result here. If you find out that the answer that is being returned by the AI is not what you really wanted, you can also stop the action. So let me do the translation again, and now I can stop it without waiting anymore for the entire content, because I already noticed, let's say that the AI answer is not what I want. And this is applicable to any action, not only for translation, but I really, I just wanted to point this out right now. Now, this is one way to use AI and to use the Positron add-on in Oxygen in technical content creation and review. Another way is to use AI with what we call author actions or framework actions. So here in my project, I have a custom framework. This is an extension of the default data framework. And in my custom framework, I added an author action. It is defined as an XML file. So this author action is actually built on top of an XSLT operation, a transformation, which will replace some section of my topic with the result given by an XSL style sheet. And in this style sheet, what I do is to send some content to the AI using this AI transform content function. This is an XPath extension function, and you give it an instruction and you give it the content that will be used with that instruction. And my colleague Octavia Nadolo will probably go into more details. We'll go deeper into these functions next week. So if you want to find more about these functions, you can register for the webinar from next week when Tavi will tackle these kind of things. So I have my action here, and you can use this action in this kind of actions in the author rendering of a document, for example. So here I have this generate short description action, which has been added here using CSS. My custom framework also has a short CSS rule. So for any empty short description, after any short description that is empty, we add a button that will invoke this add short description action. That's why we have this button here. And you can add this kind of actions pretty much everywhere you want into your document, in the author rendering of your document, and you can make it do pretty much whatever you do, whatever you want with XSLT style sheets. So now if I press this button, obviously it will write a short description for us. So this is a short description generated by the AI, and you can add this kind of author actions also in the toolbar area, or you can add it in the context menu. Here I have the same action, or in the framework's main menu, or even in the content completion assistant window. So wherever you feel that is the right place for you, you can add it there and use it there. You can also use AI in Oxygen for quick fixes. So you can use AI with these actions. You can use it with author actions, and you can also use it to define quick fixes. And you can use it for two kinds of quick fixes. One's for quick fixes that only use the problem message as the input, and of course the content in the editor. But you can also use AI for schematron quick fixes. So you define actual quick fixes that again use this transform content function. And here in my schematron file, I have both these scenarios. So I have here a rule that makes sure that we have short descriptions in our topics. And whenever we find a topic that doesn't have a short description, then we add a quick fix. And this quick fix, again, uses the transform content function, sends an instruction and the content. And also here down here, we have a rule that only reports the problem, only gives us an error message, a validation problem message. It doesn't have a quick fix for us. And let's see this in action. For example, if I open this topic from here and validate it, we can see that we have two validation problems. Both of them have been generated by the custom checks schematron file. The first validation problem, this warning, is the one that also has the quick fix. So if I go here in the short description, I can see this small widget here or this red light bulb here. And if I press on any of them, I get this quick fix that has been defined in the schematron file, generate a short description. And it will work just as the author action will insert a AI generated short description for us in the topic. So now the second validation problem, as I mentioned, this one doesn't have a quick fix. We don't see the quick fix here. So what can we do? What can we do now? We can right click here and on the error message, on the validation problem message, and the Positron add-on will add this magic AI Positron fix action for us. And what this will do is to use this error message and the content to find a fix for us. And if we preview the fix that the AI has proposed, and let's look at the full tags, we can see that the AI quote unquote knew that we need to get rid of the bold element. And it did just that. In order for this kind of magic fixes to work, of course, we need to write validation problem messages that contain instructions. So as you can see, this one says that the bold element is not allowed in the title, but then we also have an instruction, remove it. Usually this instruction would have been for a human, but we can also pass this instruction to the AI. So if you use schematron, you create schematron rules, and you want to use this kind of magic AI fixes, then you want to make sure that you write your error messages in such a way that they contain clear instructions that the AI can use. And one more thing, I mentioned earlier that you can perform XML, you can perform refactoring operations using AI. So in Oxygen, we have this feature that we call XML refactoring. And here we have many predefined XML refactoring operations, but we can also define operations that are based on AI. And I have an example here in my samples. Let me close these here. So close all. Okay, save all of them. I have an XML file that describes the action. So here we have the name, we have a description, and we have the script that this operation will use. Again, we use an XSLT script. And in this XSLT script, again, we use this magic function. And what we do here is look if the short description is longer than 30 words. Then we tell the AI to rephrase the short description so that it has less than 30 words. In order to be able to use custom XML refactoring operations in Oxygen, you need to go to Oxygen's preferences and look for XML refactoring. And here you need to provide the folder where you have your custom operations. I already have them here, so they should be available. And now I can right click on the folder that contains all my topics, go to the refactoring submenu and use this XML refactoring action. I can look for AI right here, select the AI short description action. Now that's a kind of silly name. We'll apply this operation on the selected project resources, this folder, and we can preview the changes. So now we will send requests to the AI for each of the topics, and we will gather all the responses in this preview. And as you can see, in just a few seconds, the AI was able to rephrase all our short descriptions so that they contain less than 30 words. So this is just proof of concept. From here, you can think of your needs and your use cases, and you can try to create your own custom XML refactoring operations. Now let's apply our changes. All of the features that I have highlighted up until now should be available in version 0.9.2 that you can install right now on your computers. But in a few days, I won't say exactly how many days, but in a few days, we should release the next version, and that will bring some more features and more improvements. One of them you have probably already seen, but I not really highlighted it. One of them is the fact that we now use what we call the streaming mode in the chat panel. So let's see what this means. Let's perform a translation. As you can see, the answer from the AI comes chunk by chunk. In the current version, you will have to wait for the AI to generate the entire answer, and that will come back in one step. And the disadvantage is the fact that you don't really get a feedback from the AI for a few seconds. With the streaming mode, in maybe 1 or 2 seconds, you already see the answer being constructed. And as I mentioned earlier, if you don't like what you see, if you don't like what the AI is generating, you can stop the operation. Some other improvements have been added in the preferences page, and you can go to the preferences, the AI Positron preferences from here, from your account drop down, and use this preferences action. So in the next version, you will have this context. This is a global context that is used as a sort of a prefix for each of the instruction that we send to the AI. And you can create a global context for each of your projects. This preferences page can be set on the project level. And for example, you have a project that is related to repairing wind turbines. You can use this context that is used as a placeholder here in a project. In another project, you can set another context, and this should help the AI come up with some more relevant and more personalized responses, because it should know exactly what you are working on. And another feature in the preferences page is the fact that you can load your own local actions. In the current version, you only have these predefined actions from here, from the Positron Assistant panel, but now you can also load your own custom actions. You only need to provide the folder from where we should load your actions. I have some actions here. You can also choose if you want to still load the default actions or not. I will keep them. So I don't know if you noticed or not, but now I have a new action here called rewrite like a boss. And if you don't know how to start with this kind of custom actions, we have a template for you, a file template. You can find it here if you press on the new file action and look for AI. You get this AI Positron custom actions template, which creates a JSON file. So this is the bare minimum you need to provide in a JSON file so you can create your custom action. You need to provide the ID, the title that will be used on these buttons, for example, the type of the action, and the context. The context is the instruction. And my example can be found here, and you'll also have access to these samples. So here I have this action, which has this customizable instruction. So what I tell the AI is to rewrite the following text in a specific style. So this is a parameter as for a specific audience. And these parameters are actually customizable by the user. And you can find here how you can define this kind of user customizable parameters. And you can also read on our blog about this, so I'm not going to insist on this. Let's see how it works. So we have this action here, and because it's customizable, by the way, customizable actions are again something that will be available in the next version. For these customizable actions, you get this small customized widget. And for example, for this action, I used single choice parameters. You can all see you can only choose one style and one audience for your action, and then you can save these options, and you can select this paragraph and apply this action, and it will do exactly what we told it to do. It will rewrite this content as a rap poem, and as for the audience here was a medieval king. So we also in the next version we customize the short description action. So this is my custom action, but we also have a default action that will be customizable. And for this short description, you can choose, again, you can choose a style, and this time you have multi-choice. So you can have a short description that is both clear and engaging, and then you can choose the maximum number of sentences. And when you save your customization, that will stay saved, and you don't have to perform that customization every time. You can simply click on the button and it will work with the saved customization. Now, another feature that will be available in the next version is the fact that you can edit the user questions from the chat. So right now we have this rap song here. It has 3 stanzas. Let's say we want to tell the AI rewrite this in only 2 stanzas. Okay, so now we have 2 short stanzas. And now here for my custom message, I have this small button which will allow me to edit my message and say something like rewrite using only 1 stanza. And now you may wonder, so okay, but what is the benefit? So if you have a long conversation and at some point in time you realize that the AI went in a direction that you don't really like, if you write another question down here to try to bring it back to the right track, the previous messages might hinder the AI in getting to the right track. So what you want to do is go back to the exact message where you feel that it went on another track and edit that message to get it on the right path. And additionally, you also save um, some tokens because you don't send a big conversation to the AI, and it's easier for you to track the entire conversation if you perform this kind of message edits. Bear in mind that um, perhaps you expect this after I explain to you how this works. When you edit a message, then the following messages will be dropped because again you try to um, get on the right track. And one more thing I want to mention here in our demo, another feature that will be available in the next version is the history of the conversations here in the chat panel. So here we have all the interactions we had with the chat up until now, and you can go back to a specific interaction and you can continue from there if you want to. And of course, you can clear the entire history if you want to. We only keep, I think, the last 15 interactions, so that is something you also have to keep in mind. Okay, so I hope you found this demo interesting. I have some more interesting things for you related to the future directions. So in the future, we want to add some more actions, some new actions. We also want to add some more ways of customizing actions. Perhaps we will also add some more default customizable actions. We are also thinking about migrating the Positron Assistant to the Oxygen XML web author. I know many of you were interested about some other plugins if they are available also in the web author, and we will migrate the Positron Assistant to the web author too. So this is good news for those of you who were wondering about this. We are also thinking about perhaps adding support for multiple LLMs other than ChatGPT. And another direction, another product that we have been working on is this AI documentation chat. So this is an AI chat built on top of the documentation. And how this works is something like this. You write a question in this chat. For example, is it possible to protect my generated PDF? The assistant will perform a search, both a keyword-based search and a semantic search, and it will give a list of topics that look interesting based on the initial question, and then it will try to provide an answer. For this question, it has found an answer. Yes, it is possible to protect your generated PDF, and you can do it like this, and the information can be found in this topic. And down here it says, I'm sure that this is the answer. So this is a right answer. It also provides us a degree of certainty. On this slide, I also have the links to our blog. You can read more about the AI Positron add-on there and how you can use it and how you can customize it, how you can create custom actions and so on. And I also wanted to post this link to an article that I found helpful on the Open AI website, which gives some best practices for writing prompts for ChatGPT. Okay, so that being said, I hope you found my presentation helpful, interesting, and now it's time to answer your questions. So, Alex, can you help us with that?
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you, Sorin, for your wonderful presentation, and I've also learned a lot of things about Tokyo, and actually the information was curated by Sorin, which visited Japan, so he acted as a reviewer for ChatGPT as well, because it's something that technical writers will also have to learn how to do to become to do the editorial review for this content that will come out of the AI.
I just missed being there. That's that's why I wrote about it.
It was a good inspiration. So we have a lot of questions. Some of them I managed to answer, but some of them we'll answer on the fly. So let's go through them. This interface makes me so. Can it add structure to a document? And the answer is yes. And later on, Sorin actually presented the itemize list, which created a list out of a sequence of terms. And we also intend to explore other such actions. For example, in Dita, you could have one that adds UI controls and menu cascades over a sequence of menu items. Another question is that 250 per user? So this refers to the limit of 250 requests that we have, and the answer is yes. So for each user, there is a limit of 250 requests per month. And this is because currently the service is free, and we are still in the early phases. There's a lot of explorations of load balancing and so on. As we draw more conclusions, we will probably offer some packages that you can purchase, and will give you more tokens, more requests. Is it English only for the moment? So I think this question was asked at the time when Sorin presented the continue writing action. So the AI Positron interface is currently only in English, but if your content is in another language, the AI is smart enough to detect that language and to give you the response in that particular language. And I was actually amazed about this and about the implications. I mean, I imagine that you could have your documentation published only in English, and when if a German user will reach it and use such an AI-powered search engine, he will get the answers extracted from that English documentation and presented in his in German language. So that seems pretty amazing. Another question is, if we have an internal trained large language model, is there a way we can set a preference to have this add-on query our own large language model instead of ChatGPT? And the answer is not at the moment, but the architecture of the AI Positron with its middleware layer, this AI Positron server, was specifically designed with this feature and this possibility in mind. So the fact that Enterprises will not want their content to be sent to an external AI provider, and they will have and train their own large language model, or perhaps they'll use they'll go through Microsoft Azure services in order to access ChatGPT API through a secured corporate gateway and so on. So although it's not possible at the moment, we have it on our roadmap, and this is a functionality that we want to implement. Is there a problem with information privacy? Where does all that information go? And the question is, so this information goes to Open AI because we are using Open AI Chat GPT model, but because we are using the REST API, this means that the information will not be used for training. So you're probably thinking to situations like that one in which Samsung employees were using ChatGPT to verify the content, and some private content was leaked and incorporated in the next model. But this can happen if you use ChatGPT through the site. If you use the REST API, they state that they won't use your content for training. You mentioned that Positron Assistant is free for up to 150 queries per month. How much does it cost if we need more? So because this is at the beginning, so actually in 3 months or so, we implemented all this functionality that you've seen. So we worked with the engines at full speed, and we try to explore various directions and see how we can be more helpful for technical writers. So we intend to have a subscription plan, but it's not something that we've focused on right now. So I suggest to try what we have and see if you like it, if it's helpful, and if it is, you can contact us and we'll send you a code. How much language efficiency support it gives, like does it convert properly to German with respect to grammar as well? So we haven't done such tests ourselves, and that means that I couldn't really say, but from what French that I know, and from what I tested, I didn't notice any obvious grammar mistakes. But again, this is something that persons that work in translations or are very familiar with the language can better assess.
I actually know someone who was exploring ChatGPT for translating books from German, I think, to other languages, or from English to German. I don't really know for sure, but he's a German, so I suppose he wanted to translate from German the books that he has written, and he was very content with the translations performed by ChatGPT. And he said that they were actually, in his opinion, they were better than the translations performed by other tools.
Thank you, Sorin. Is it possible to share reuse saved favorites? Well, yes, although not as easy as it should be. So currently these favorites are saved inside Oxygen preferences file. So this means that you can export, give the file to your colleagues and they can import it, or you could, I guess, copy paste. But on the short term, we intend to save these favorites at project level. So this means that they will be shared automatically as long as the members of the team work in the same project, Oxygen project, I mean, an XPR file. And if needed, and if we receive any feedback from you. We might also add some import actions for the favorites as well. Will a non-data person can easily work on this using Positron? So some of these actions are indeed data oriented because data is so used in the technical documentation community, but some other actions that we have here are generic, and they can be used with any XML vocabulary or any document, as a matter of fact. Can I add content to a topic and have the AI rewrite the short description? And the answer is yes. You can regenerate the short description, and the AI Positron is smart enough to see that there isn't a short description, and it will replace it. How do you share the XML refactoring with other users when you have shared content in a Git repository? Again, what I'm thinking are the Oxygen project files, the XPR. We also have our documentation, which is written in data in a Git repository. And in order for our technical writers and developers to work with a unified editing experience, same settings, we are using an Oxygen project file, which is saved next to the data document, in the Git repository. And this means that you can also put the XML refactoring files there in the Git repository, and inside Oxygen's options, there is a preferences page where you can specify a file path to additional XML refactoring actions, and you can save this page at project level, use the $PD editor variable to make it shareable, and there you have it. Anyone who loads that project will have those actions automatically. How does your add-on work with proprietary information? The content about Tokyo is publicly available. Can the add-on be useful with the information that is still internal? Well, right now, if you have internal information and you want an answer based on that information, you have to put this information inside the message, inside the chat view, or perhaps if it's a generic information, you can put it inside the context variable that we have in preferences. But anyway, it is something that we thought about taking into account when designing the architecture. And for example, right now with Open AI models that we use, you can fine-tune such a model, feed it your own private information, and it will result in a new model that also knows your private information. And what we intend to do in the future is to be able to configure the AI Positron service to use this custom AI models that you've created instead of the default one. So you'll get answer from your own private content, not only the global one. Okay, I create an add-on for dictionaries in TI and want to put AI actions, for example, for tagging content using TI markup. So this is an interesting question. So what we have right now is the ability to save actions at project level and share them like that. But we'll think of a better way, for maybe define some extension points that a third-party add-on can use to inject additional actions into the AI Positron. Okay. So can I add AI actions to the add-on? Okay, so this I already answered that. Will the SDK provide access to lower level positron method and classes? There isn't such an access currently available. If needed, we can define some extension points. Probably the idea here is to further customize the AI positron, maybe to create custom actions like we've read in the previous question. But yeah, so this is not something that we've yet considered, but if you have some use cases, please send them to us on our email support address, support@oxygenxml.com, and we'll see how we can integrate them, how we can offer the extension points to achieve them. This is the question about intellectual property. Is the data content connected to AI Positron shared with Open AI Chat GPT? So yes, like I previously said, we are using Open AI Chat GPT models, and the content is sent to Open AI. But because we are using the REST API, not the Chat GPT site, this means that the content will not be used in any way by OpenAI. Where would the chat appear in the online help? So this is probably at the time when Sorin presented the chat interface, and the answer is yes, it's something that you will attach to your online help. Would you like some example of requirements for restructuring data? And the answer is yes, please send them. If it will help us refine actions, that would be great. Make sure we fulfill your requirements. Will there be a recording? Yes. Oh, yes, the recording will be available tomorrow. Markdown 2. So like I said, some of the actions are related to data, like the generation of a short description, but others, like correct grammar or use active voice, are language agnostic. When the counting of 250 requests start and end, so it starts when you make your first request. So this is when the first month begins, and afterwards they will succeed.
And if you want to see how many requests you have used up until a point in time, you can go here to this usage status action, and this will show you just how many requests you have made this month.
Can I also create frequently asked questions based on the user guide I prepare using data? So I guess yes, you could open a topic from your user guide and then make the AI extract a couple of what he thinks might be frequently asked questions, like what Sorin presented with a generate questions action. When will the next versions you've been referring to be available? Yeah, so if all goes well on Friday, if well, all will go well. Will there be a full written manual for the Positron AI in the future? Lots of stuff there. So yes, we've started working on a documentation topic. It's available inside Oxygen's documentation. So if you press F1, you'll reach the Oxygen documentation. F1 in Oxygen. Can your upcoming web chat feature be tied only to web help, or can we put our own UI and use a REST API or JavaScript functions to access your core Positron services, but with corporate branding? For example, Oxygen feedback is not tied only to web help. Yeah, so I see the question. So you want it to be generic and to be attachable to any web help. And yeah, so it sounds like a good thing to do. So I'll make sure I'll pass this feedback to the team that handles this web chat feature. Will there any in-depth session or workshop on AI in technical communication? Well, currently we don't have one planned, but we'll think about it, and perhaps we'll plan one. Thank you for this idea. So I hope I didn't miss any questions. Yeah, so I think these are all the questions. So thank you again for your feedback. If you get more ideas, more questions, again, you can write us on support@oxygenxml.com. It's a good time to send us this feedback. Like I said, we are working hard on this AI Positron features, and as soon as you get us this feedback, we can integrate it in our next releases. Sorin or Aline?
Thank you, Alex, for helping us with the audience's questions. And of course, again, thank you all for joining us and becoming so involved in Sorin's great and thorough presentation of the Oxygen AI Positron Assistant. So again, we are grateful, Sorin. I want to remind you all that the event is being recorded. I saw that many of you asked us, and you will find the recording along with Sorin's sample presentation slides on the event page. And if you have any comments or questions regarding today's presentation, you can write to us directly by using the Oxygen feedback commenting platform found at the bottom of this very same page. I want to return, and before saying goodbye, let me say a few words about our upcoming webinar next week that Sorin also mentioned, leveraging the power of AI and Schematron for content verification and correction, that will be held by Octavian Nadolo. We will continue our journey into the world of AI by exploring its application in conjunction with Schematron and Schematron Quick Fix for content verification and correction. So in this webinar, we aim to offer a comprehensive overview of AI, highlight the potential advantages it brings, and shed some light on the challenges we may encounter when utilizing AI for these purposes. I also encourage you to take a look at our events page. You can see the link below, where you can also find all of our upcoming webinars and events where the Oxygen team will be present in person. So again, I want to thank everyone that was involved into today's presentation, starting with you, our audience, and then continuing with our presenter, Sorin Carbonaro, and of course, Alex Gitiano for helping us in the Q&A section of this live event. So I hope that some of you will be able to join us again next week. And until then, I only have to say to you, stay safe and have a great day or evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.